Can you afford to spend a significant amount of time in Bangkok, Thailand?
We just spent 40 days living in the city of Bangkok, and we're here to share our expenses.
Hello, you've reached Potagils, and we are not home right now. We are in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and what are we here to talk about today?
We are here to talk about how much we spent to live in Bangkok, Thailand for 40 days.
What you'll see missing from our budget, that's in everybody else's budget, is they have budgeted X number of dollars for this and X number of dollars for that. And for us, it's whatever you need to spend to feel good about whatever you're doing.
Greg decided that we would do our budget. You did. Greg decided to do our budget by location instead of by month because our travels don't coincide with the first of the month.
I also like to make things way more difficult than they need to be. The reason for that is, as we are visiting countries in our first year or two on the road, we want to get a sense of what does it cost per day to live in a location. So if we're in a place for 40 days and that's split between this month and next month, I don't want it to get all muddled. I just want to know, hey, this is what it costs to live in Bangkok, and this is what it costs to live in Kuala Lumpur. So however many days we stay, that's how long the budget is for. Let's deal with the naysayers. We've already received comments to the effect of, those free things aren't free. Well, of course, nothing's free, right? How do we account for these things?
With our credit cards, we have points that were gifted to us when we signed up for the credit card. There were dollars associated with the annual fee for the credit card. We also have points that we have earned from hotel stays. We also have points that we purchased that we paid for. So they have a different dollar number associated with them.
When you see a lodging line item that says $0, what that means is that was a welcome offer, or that those were points that we have just earned, through just making regular purchases on the credit cards. If you see a dollar amount associated with a hotel, then that means either we paid the cash rate or that we purchased those points, and that's how much those points cost us. Now also we have a line item in the budget that says, what does it cost us per day to carry all of these credit cards? Because all of these fabulous offers don't come to you on the credit card that doesn't cost anything. You have to pay annual fees, and so that is accounted for in the budget.
The last thing that we need to talk about is, where is our money coming from?
We keep a giant sack under the bed and it has dollar signs written on it.
We have been retired for several years.
We have our retirement savings that we built up over decades of working, and that's invested, and we get interest and dividends and whatnot from that, and that pays us a certain amount every month. Our money will go farther overseas. We just need to make sure that on average we don't spend more than that fixed income every month. If we don't, then we never have to touch the principal of our savings, and we could live for 1,000 years. If we have a bunch of months in a row, like here in Southeast Asia, where our expenses are pretty minimal, we can bank that and have that money to use when we go to places that are a little more expensive, like Europe. Or maybe we can get crazy with a bucket list item. If we find out that we are spending too much money, we can just be a little bit more frugal. If needed, we could earn some more money. So we do have a fabulous PowerPoint presentation that we put together, because who doesn't love PowerPoint? Okay, Boomer. So what did it cost to get here?
Our flight from Cleveland to Bangkok was $1,493. This is not included in the daily average that we give you at the end.
Because it depends on where you came from. We came from Cleveland, Ohio for this particular trip. But next time we might be coming here from Australia, or we might be coming here from Greece. So it's not really fair to evaluate the cost of a country based on how much it was to get there. Now, at the end of the year, we will do a roll up where we look at all of our travel expenses for the year. And at that point, we might say, you know, what is an average monthly cost for travel or something like that, but we'll see when we get there. All right, let's go through real quick and talk about our lodging. First place we stayed was the Ramada. It was in the Prakanong district, right on the edge of Prakanong. It's actually Prakanong the way. So we had 12 nights there. Those are Wyndham points that we got from getting the Wyndham credit card.
Our second stay in Bangkok was at an Airbnb in the Sethon neighborhood. We spent 12 nights. It was $735.
And our third stay was Airbnb in the Yanawa district. We spent 16 nights there and it was $720.
We stayed at 3 different places because we don't know anything about Bangkok. We don't know anything about the neighborhoods, and we didn't want to be locked in for 40 days and have it end up being a terrible location.
So total, 40 nights, we spent $1,455. Next category, food.
Oh, the food.
Man, we ate good. We ate good. And we've watched a bunch of people on their nomad life travels, and they seem to follow a general guideline of they eat out one day, they cook in one day, and then they have food delivered one day. And so we tried to sort of follow that. Dining out. We spent $880. Now I know you can eat chicken on a stick for 30 cents every day, but we ate at a lot of really nice fancy restaurants, cloth napkins, air conditioned kind of places, drinking nice bottles of wine. And that's why we managed to spend $880 dining out. Okay, so groceries. This is just, food that we had, in the room, the apartment, whatever. $206. Groceries are very reasonable here. Meal delivery is fantastic. The delivery is basically free. The food is very affordable. So meal delivery, we spent $157.
Our food total for the 40 days in Bangkok was $1,243. $31 a day.
All right, let's talk about transportation. First item, car rental. You'll notice that it says 0 because you would be nuts to rent a car.
I would never rent a car in Bangkok.
We did a video on this. Just don't do it.
We did use taxi service from the airport our first day, and then going forward we only used Grab, which is very similar to Uber in the United States. They also bring you fried chicken. For our Grab rides for 40 days was $142.37.
We also used the public transportation, the train system here. There's the SkyTrain and the Metro subway system, and we even took a ferry one time. We spent $30.51, and we rode the train all over town. That gives us a total of $172.89 for local transportation.
Daily expense was $4.32 for transportation.
All right, so miscellaneous other categories. Entertainment was a little over $98. And what did we get for our entertainment dollar, Dawn?
We went to see the Royal Bangkok Symphony Orchestra. We had drinks out. We rented bicycles.
We were entertained. For pennies a day.
Then we went shopping.
And services, $54. Haircuts for both of us. We did laundry. Our other catch-all category, $221.
Which is an average of $5.53 per day.
So we're going to call this category infrastructure. Phone, data plan, ended up being close to $30. We had some carryover from our time in the States. Going forward, we have a different plan, but this is what we spent for this 40 days.
Streaming services. This includes Netflix and Hulu for $16.18.
Another holdover is we're still carrying our U.S. health insurance through the end of the year. That's $81. The credit card fees. This is the nothing is free category. We pay a little over $900 a year in annual fees on credit cards. So that works out to be, what did we say, $2.50 a day?
Mm-hmm.
For 40 days, about $100. And what that $100 buys you is all of those fabulous free nights and discounted nights, suite upgrades and everything. That stuff has a cost associated with it, and that cost is $2.50 a day. So our infrastructure, we're gonna call at about $228.
which works out to $5.70 per day.
All right, we did have some one-time expenses for this trip. We went ahead and we did the Thai e-visa. Depending on who you talk to, you either did or did not need this. We went ahead and got it, just so we wouldn't have any problems. It was $80 for the two of us.
For our phones, we had to transfer our phone number to Google Voice, and those were $20 each, so a total of $40.
So we spent $120 on one-time things. Well, let's run through our 40-day summary.
Lodging, $1,455. Food, $1,243. Transportation, $172.89. Other, $221.29. Infrastructure, $227.81. One-time fees, $120. A total of $3,440. Our cost per day, $86.
So what does that work out to on a monthly basis?
$2,616.
That is significantly less than we were spending living in Cleveland, Ohio. What's that? I hear somebody in the back saying, but isn't there a pie chart? And the takeaway from the pie chart visually is that 80% of what you're going to spend is lodging and food. So if you're looking for areas to economize, those are your areas to focus on. We could have done a lot better on our expense for lodging, and we certainly could have eaten for less. But you know, the dollar amount that you spend on the food does not necessarily correlate to your enjoyment level.
Yeah, well, that's true.
We ate some things out of stalls in the street that were absolutely delicious, and they only cost like a quarter.
So how could we have saved more living in Bangkok? Absolutely, I could have done a better job finding cheaper accommodations through Airbnb. The closer you are to the tourist area, the more expensive they are going to be. The longer you stay, the cheaper the rate.
And that's a big one. You can go to a property management company and get a 30-day rental. We've seen people get in really nice places for $400, $500, $600 a month. So we could certainly do better on lodging. What about food?
So we did spend a lot of money on food.
It would not have been a stretch to pull $500 off the food. The fancy places that we ate, I mean, they were nice and everything, but we could have gotten a comparable meal somewhere for half of what we spent. We just didn't really think about it that much. We just ate where we wanted to eat and just didn't worry about what it cost. Our phone plan has changed. We have a new phone plan that's for each of us is like $575 a month. How much could we have saved?
Easily $966.
So if that's the case, so if we roll back here in a year, what would be maybe what we might spend at that time?
$1,650 a month.
And that's no problem. That's not making any sacrifices. You're still going to have a very nice apartment. You're still going to have a very nice hotel. You're still going to eat excellent food for $1,650 a month.
Our rent in Cleveland was $1,350 a month, just for our rent.
For all the people who, question, how can you afford to live out on the road? Well, the answer is we're not paying for a home at home that we're not sitting in. Well, the problem for most people, and the problem for us, was once we paid for all of our fixed expenses, our apartment, our cars, our utilities, our internet, our insurances and everything, there's no money left to travel. You could either have your place to live or you go see the world. And we'll just get rid of the place to live and then we can see the world. And it turns out that at least here, it's cheaper to see the world than it is to sit in our apartment back in Cleveland, Ohio.
If you're interested in the hotel and the Airbnbs that we stayed at, we do have walkthroughs through those facilities. If you like our content, please consider a like and a subscribe.
I can't put a thought together to save my life.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. It's hard to say.